Hi, this is Eric Badiger, and this is the Cutting Room Floor. Just a few thoughts on the sermon that I preached last week that I didn't have time to explore. So I was thinking after the message last week, if you were with us at Sunnyside, about when the Apostle Paul was accused of being stark raving mad. It comes from Acts chapter 26. We were looking at his testimony before the politicians. If you remember, there was Festus, he was there, Bernice, and her brother, who was kind of the king of Judea, the area, was King Agrippa. And they had all kind of gathered together and asked Paul to kind of talk about why he was in trouble in the first place. What did he say that caused all the Jewish people and everybody there to get in an uproar, so much so that he got arrested for disturbing the peace. Well, Paul took that as a great opportunity to witness to these guys. And so he got up and said, "This is my story, which is the story of the gospel." So he was pretty smart in doing that. And pretty soon, as he was going through his testimony, Festus and Agrippa figured out what Paul was doing. He's trying to convert them. And at one point in time, in the story in Acts chapter 26, Festus just stands up and shouts, "Paul, you're crazy." It's translated in most versions in verse 24 of Acts chapter 26 as being mad. Now, I thought a lot about that, and I didn't get to explain too much of it, but I wondered why Festus would think he was insane. Matter of fact, he prefaced it by saying, you're much learning. All the stuff that you have put together has just driven you crazy. So I did a little work on that particular little phrase, and when I found out that that word mad is the only time it's really used in the New Testament in that sense. And he accused Paul of just being totally out of it. And I wondered, was it because of the message? Was it because of the way Paul delivered it? Did it not make sense? You know, Jesus was accused of being crazy as well a few times. If you look back, for instance, in the book of John, folks thought he was maybe demon possessed. And there was another time in John chapter 7 where actually they were amazed. They said, where did this guy get all of this learning? Use the same phraseology there. Where did he get so smart? He hasn't ever been taught. He was just, a simple carpenter. Well, here's my thought, and this is what I want you to think about. Was he crazy or was he convicted? I think those guys couldn't deal with somebody who was convicted about their beliefs so much that they would not only preach about it, not only talk about it, but be willing to go to prison for it. They were so proud. They understood Judaism. Matter of fact, they were experts. These guys were smart guys as well, Agrippa and Festus. They knew their stuff. And here somebody comes along challenging it in such a way, with such enthusiasm. Paul had to be speaking with enthusiasm and excitement for Festus to get so upset. And then King Agrippa says right after that, "Are you trying to convert us?" And Paul simply says, "Yes." So I don't think that they thought he was crazy in the sense that he had some kind of disability or mental illness. I think they thought he was crazy because he was so deeply convicted, and that bothered them. And I thought about today's culture. I think that bothers a lot of people as well, that somebody can be so convicted that they would die, that they would go to prison, that they would do anything for those convictions. There's not a lot of people around like that anymore. And I think as Christians, that's one way we can get the world's attention. Not to be silly, not to be stupid, not to be abrasive or offensive, but just to be convicted of what we believe. So think about it. Are we mad? Are we crazy? Or are we convicted? This is Eric Badiger. This is the Cutting Room Floor.